There we go. Go live. Well, it's funny is that my always punch Nazis review started with me going boom, which wasn't so bad. It actually was a little bit in context. But luckily, I'm live right now. It looks like, and I'm not shouting profanities at you, which is something that doesn't make David happy, but overall, it actually does. He just got to giggle because when I started this review a second ago, I was cussing at my computer because I thought that I did something wrong, and then I found out I was on a hot mic. Luckily, I wasn't live, but it's all recorded. So someday I will show all of you interested parties out there because I'm sure there are point two of you watching right now. I'll be glad to tell you about this magic moment, and I'll have David capture it off the video, and we'll post it live. Um, Howdy doody, folks. Howdy doody. My name is Bobby Smith, and welcome to a special comic book corner. This is a quick review presented by Cabin Fever Radio, as always. I am Bobby Smith. You already know that. And here on Comic Book Corner, I always navigate the world of comic books for you guys. And I present extended runs from some of the best titles, past and present, that deserve your attention, especially if you're new and trying to say, are comics for me? Let me find something I can sink my teeth into. I feel like that's kind of my job. So I want to give you things that deserve your attention. So thank you for giving me yours right now. Today, I just wanted to pop in kind of quickly since I wasn't exactly prepared for this. I had a lot of things going on earlier. And I want to talk to you about the book called Otzi by Rick Veitch. And if you look behind me, today's background is kind of the background for this, the book Otzi. If you're not familiar with Otzi in general, Otzi was the caveman that they dug up back many years ago. They found a pretty well preserved cave dude who had been like shot in the back with an arrow. Pretty well preserved, kind of mummified by the peat and everything. And it was kind of a thing. So Rick Veitch took and made a comic book story out of it. He did this guy right here. And I bought it several months ago, last year. And I've wanted to talk about it for a long time, and I never got around to it. And I've read it probably 3 or 4 times. Today was that fourth time. And I decided since I wanted to pop in here, this would give me a great way to do it. And I didn't have the chance to take a lot of notes, but this would still give me the chance to do it. And I'd actually been thinking about this book a bit recently because I got the Hellblazer trade paperback, as you can see, boop, right there. I got that for my birthday. It's the only book I got this year, and actually somebody sent me a gift card, and I used that to buy that. And that Hellblazer trade paperback from Jamie Delano and John Ridgway, it's amazing, very highly recommended. It's pretty cool because it's got like the first like 11 issues, I think, of Hellblazer, but then it's got 2 issues of Swamp Thing as well, one by Rick Veitch, one by Delano, and it's kind of like a crossover that they did. And when I was reading that, it was pretty cool because, let me see if I got the pictures loaded in here. I don't yet. Let me go to my email and get this picture downloaded. I did that. I just didn't bring it in yet. So when I was reading the Hellblazer thing and I got to the Swamp Thing story, there's a picture in there in particular that I thought was really interesting. Let me show this to you guys. Boom. And it's going to be huge, so I'm going to have to take and shrink it down. First, let's talk about Rick Veitch on Swamp Thing, because most of the time when you hear about Swamp Thing, you hear about it in terms of, uh, you hear about it more in terms of, oops, we want that on. We want that off. You usually hear about Swamp Thing and the greatness of Swamp Thing in terms of Alan Moore, and it rightfully so. There was some simply just genre like comic book changing, especially at that time during the 80s. There was just some earth shattering, like especially for comic book readers, work being done by Alan Moore along with Stephen Bissett and John Totleben. And man, those Swamp Thing issues are simply magical. But a lot of people, while giving voice to those, never realized the greatness of the books that directly followed Alan Moore's run, and that was the whole Thing by Rick Veitch, and he not just wrote it, but he wrote and drew most of his run. So anybody out there that's a fan of Swamp Thing, especially if you're a fan of the Alan Moore years and you've bought the trades or the omnibus and things like that, I got to tell you, you got to get out there and you got to get the Rick Veitch issues of Swamp Thing. And there's a really cool story about how his run ended, the ending for his run. That I won't go into today, but it's really cool. So if you get the chance, look that up. I think you'll dig it. But Rick Veitch has just been always one of those creators in my mind that was one of the greatest because he did the Swamp Thing run. He also did one of the most legendary issues of Miracle Man, which was with Alan Moore, and it was the issue where Miracle Man's wife gives birth to the kid at Winter or whatever. And it was very, very controversial at the time because, I mean, they show the birth. They show the baby coming out of the birth canal and everything like that. The woman with her legs open, let's say. And so Rick Veitch has been on my radar my entire comic book reading life almost, from a very, very young age. And I really, really dig the fact that he's taken off and done his own thing and been, hopefully, it seems like, pretty successful. He puts a lot of his stuff out through Amazon. That's like this book here. Let me throw the cover of it up. There we go. That's the cover for Otzi. And that right there, don't worry about all the dinging and stuff like that. That's just a thing with the computer on my side. But the cover for Otzi right there, Rick Veitch. I was telling you the story of who Otzi was earlier. He has his own label, Sun Comics, as you can see right there. And let me throw the back cover of it up. The back cover looks just like what you're seeing here. I don't know if I've got that. Nope, I don't have it. Other than what you're seeing right behind. Oh, I guess that's it. I guess I could just turn my video device off and that would show you. There, that's what the back cover looks like. So as I always have like a wish list on Amazon, and I love keeping things on that list. And when I can afford it, or when I get a gift card or something, I like getting new stuff. And especially now that I'm doing this show, Comic Book Corner, and doing reviews, it's even more fun. So back last year when the pandemic first hit, I ended up getting this book. It was only $9.95 on Amazon. Rick puts them out through Amazon, through their Create space. He calls it PanelVision. Oops, right there, if you can see that. Inglorious PanelVision. It's his label, Sun Comics. And $9.95 for the book. And it's absolutely well worth it. And he calls it PanelVision because every page in it, is one whole panel. Is just one page. Every page is a splash page, and his art is amazing. And how I actually got turned on to this particular book, and I should have actually found the video and brought it in and shown it to you guys. Was, let me see if I can find it. Even was Rick did a video on Facebook that I saw, where he showed his art process. He showed himself drawing this, and he put the process video out. It was just a real quick video, time-lapse video of him drawing it. And I think I do have it. Hang on. Yes, I do. So hang on a second, guys. Let me throw this up here for you. And I will shut up for just a second and let Rick Veitch's talent do the talking if I can. Damn it. I don't think I'm in the right window right now. So I'm not going to be able to do it. But if you go to the Facebook page, I will actually put this on the Cabin Fever page, and I'll put it on the Comic Book Corner page in case you want to watch it, because this is the video that got me very, very, very interested in this project. And I ended up even showing it to friends of mine who were not into comics. David Ruano, who co-produces Cabin Fever Radio with me, was one of those people. I sent it to him one day back a couple years ago. And let me label this really quick. Rick Veitch, time-lapse illustration on Otzi video. There we go. So I put that out onto the Cabin Fever page. And now let me see if I can. I'll go in there Can I go in here and do this as also as Comic Book Corner? I think I can. Yep. Maybe. Yep. Hang on 1 second, folks. Let's get this up there. No, I don't want that, guys. I want this. I want to put this up. This right here. Share it to a page. To the Comic Book Corner page. Yes, there we go. Rick Veitch video. Time-lapse video. Time-lapse video illustrating Otzi. I think I put too many L's in illustrating. Let me get that out of there too. All right. All right, everybody. So if you're interested, go and check out the video that's out there, and you'll see exactly what got me so fascinated in this. So, Rick, if you ever see this video, thank you for sharing that video, because it definitely moved at least one copy of the book to me. Not saying I wouldn't have bought it anyway, but it definitely made the book stay in my mind for a long time. But anyway, as I was reading the book, as I was reading Otzi, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about it. It's the story of this caveman, and it's basically like an alternate dimension story. And I'm very into Twilight Zone stories. I know that Rick Veitch must be as well. And the story is one of the most original stories I've read ever in my entire comic book reading career. It's one of the most gripping stories I've ever read, and it deals with things that I love, like alternate dimensions, time. I don't want to say exactly time travel, but yeah, time travel. And there's a lack of verbiage. If you look at the book, there's not a lot of words in the book. It's more fairly silent. And to me, that speaks highly to the talent of Rick Veitch to be able to put out a book that primarily is wordless, and for it to be able to tell the story. We talk about it in movies and we talk about it in comics both, that one of the true measures of being able to see how talented a storyteller is does the story make sense if you pull all the word balloons and all the caption boxes and everything out? And if it does, then you've got a true master there. And so Veitch accomplishes something on a couple levels with Otzi. First of all, it's just a great story, and second of all, he proves his mastery of the craft by not just being able to pull the word balloons and stuff out, but building a story around the fact that there weren't going to be any of that, or at least not much of that present. So it's really, really, if you're a comic book reader and if you're a fan of things like Swamp Thing and stuff from the past, and you don't know about this book, you've got to go order it today. I don't get anything, guys. I'm not an affiliate. I don't know Rick Veitch or anything like that. This is just my review to you. This is a good way to spend time if you're locked inside during the pandemic or what have you. This book is a great way to spend some time, and it's a book that you will read more than once. I promise you that. If you get this book, and I say read, even though there's not a lot of words in it, but I promise you, this is a book that will command several readings, repeat readings from you, even without a word in it. How's that? So the story basically, it shows Otzi stumbling upon a phenomenon. He stumbles into the phenomenon, and then as he's inside like these moving rocks and things, at first it's all chaotic, it becomes more orderly. There's like these little like gremlins inside there, and they start stripping him down, stealing away his clothes and things like that. Very interesting, and even the symbolism of it is interesting. When so many ways to consider what kind of message is really being sent there, and what to ponder. But the really interesting thing is where the story ends up going, because it does end up being that he's been like fished out of another dimension, and in order to produce babies into this other dimension. And I don't want to spoil too much more than that, because it really is a fascinating story. But in the process of what happens in the story, during like the process of how they fish him out, and I'm going to show you this without spoiling anything. But as they bring this thing together, let me get rid of this picture really quick. As they bring it together, you see like this series of panels, right? which lovely art, by the way. And then as they get closer to embracing and kissing, you see the white and the black characters, and they're embracing. And then if you look here, you see it like it's like becoming like fractal. And then it gets closer even still. The whole fractal process of pregnancy or what have you, of reproduction. And there we see a very fascinating image of like an embryo being made. Again, very fractal. We see it again, but if we notice now, it's like there's legs and stuff. So this is inside something. Then the next panel, we see that it's inside a person. And so that is cool because it's pure Veitch. And this is like 30 something years after he did Swamp Thing. And I recently got that Swamp Thing, or that Hellblazer trade paperback I was telling you guys about. And I totally never would have put these pieces together, this right here. But as I was reading that recently, I got to the end of it, I saw this page. And it really hit me because I was looking at that same thing about in the Otzi. It was a dark black negative energy and a white energy being coming together and embracing. And he plays with the imagery and the contrast, between the two colors and stuff. Does the same thing here, but he does it with the negative space between the two characters as they're kissing. And because I've read Otzi a few times since I'd seen this, when I read this again, I was rethinking how I looked at this, because the last time I'd read this, I was a lot younger. It was probably at least 20 years ago, if not 25 years ago, that I'd read that story right there in Swamp Thing. And this is not something that I'm saying 100%. So it's one of the reasons I'm doing the show tonight, because if you're out there watching, or if you watch this show on a replay, I'm interested to see what your thinking is. And I know I've got a few friends like on Facebook who actually know Rick Veitch. So like I'm wondering if any of them could answer this. But if you look at the pictures here, then at the top in each, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panels. Look at the top panel on the top left and tell me that inside that panel, that if you look at the negative space, the light colored area between them, the light colored area on the right looks a lot like a penis and a penis head, which would make the negative space between the two mouths, if you look at it in that regard, it's like the exploding orgasm coming from the penis. And at first you're saying, okay, Bobby, you're just filthy and you're just coming up with all this on your own. But again, I'm going to refer you back to Otzi and the sequence that he showed there, different, but in a similar kind of mindset. And what I see here is in that first panel, I see the full blam of it blowing, and then it's like it's animated. And then you see it in the next panel across on the right, you see more of it where it's like having come out. And then if you go down to the second row of panels, you see where it's almost completely finished. And then in the next panel, you see where it has finished and it's actually leaving the penis, which is still on the side of the other side of the panel. And then if you go to the bottom, you see the penis still there. You still see this erect penis sticking out, and you see the end of the orgasm being flowing away. And to drive home the point of what's going on here, this is in this issue of Swamp Thing. Let's see, I got the cover for that in here too, somewhere. I think. I thought I did. Oh, damn it. I think I have it. Let me, hang on a second, guys. Yeah, I do. And again, I'll have to shrink it down to make it make sense. But if you are a Swamp Thing reader, and as I said earlier, if you were a fan of the Alan Moore stuff, you've got to read the Rick Veitch stuff. You owe it to yourself to read the Rick Veitch stuff. And this is one of those key issues. This is an issue that had an impact on the series forever. For on and on and on after that. Because on the cover here, you see John Constantine and Abigail Arcane embracing, and of course, it's all in the midst of all the greenery, which represents Swamp Thing. And this is the issue where Swamp Thing has possessed willingly. John Constantine has allowed Swamp Thing to take over his body so that he can impregnate Abigail and they can have a kid, and it works. And the scene that I just showed you, that's them. That's Constantine and Abigail coming together. And so, again, I go back and I look at these pictures and the reverse, the negative space imagery between them, and I see the symbolism for like a kind of a slow motion animation shot of the orgasm, the ejaculate happening to impregnate Abigail, to create baby Swamp Thing. I forget what the name of the baby was in Swamp Thing. I know it was Winter in Miracle Man. I can't think of the baby in Swamp Thing right now because it wasn't my focus. But anyway, so I highly recommend buying Otzi. It's something that, like I said, you won't regret it. It'll be a multiple read. You'll be supporting an independent artist, Rick Veitch. He self-publishes. He puts a lot of passion and a lot of care into it. Like I said, he calls it, being printed in PanelVision. He's really taken the time to consider the medium that it's printed in, and the self-publishing aspect of it coming through Amazon. And I just look at it like there's a lot of care and a lot of passion and a lot of creativity in this as a comic book reader and somebody who appreciates that when they're trying to find ways to spend time with art, And I'm hoping that that people will dig into this, that you'll look in. And I'm wanting to get a couple of the other Rick Veitch books that are out on his Sun Comics label. He's got some like Max Immortal, and there's a Western thing. And since I just did Vengeance Turns, especially, my mind is keen. My eyes are keenly drawn to Western things, and it's also in PanelVision as these other books are. So please check out. Give Otzi a check. Go to Amazon.com, look up Otzi, buy it, share it with your friends. If you have friends that buy comics, buy a copy and give it to them. I don't think you'll ever regret it. If you have friends that read or have read Swamp Thing in the past, or were fans of the Alan Moore stuff or the Rick Veitch stuff, surprise them with a copy of Otzi. And I think that you'll have a happy friend or family member on your hands. If you have never read comics before and you're really thinking about how to get into it, you're not sure how to read comics, this is also a great place for you to start, because there are no word balloons. There are not a lot of words in there at all. It's just very easy to move page to page, absorbing each page as a little piece of art and letting it sequentially unfold in front of you. So it's a great way to break into comics if you're not a full-time reader, or if you know people who aren't full-time readers and you want to break them into comics. Otzi is a good way to do it. So Otzi is very highly recommended. And of course, I've been on a Vertigo kick my entire life, but recently been getting back into Vertigo and rereading Swamp Thing and Hellblazer. I'm almost all the way through all 3 volumes of The Invisibles again. I recently reread all of Preacher, so I can't recommend Hellblazer enough either. And like I said, getting into those Swamp Thing, getting into those Rick Veitch issues of Swamp Thing is something that you got to do too. But until then, this is it, guys. Get your copy of Otzi. Get it for the art. Get it for the story. Get it for the fact that you're supporting independent artists like Rick Veitch. Get it for supporting Rick Veitch himself, one of the masters of this art form. Highly, highly recommended. Can't go wrong with it. And guys, that's it. That's another episode of Comic Book Corner in the vault. It was a shorter episode today. I want to thank you if you did stop by live. I know that I didn't warn anybody. It's totally unexpected. So if you are here, wow. But it's being recorded, so I'll put it out as a replay. I'll put it out on the Facebook page as well. Thank you. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for watching if you're watching it on a replay. Guys, Comic Book Corner is going to be exciting this whole year. Throughout 2021, I'm going to be giving away stuff. I'm going to be giving away, last year I gave away a copy of John McCrae, one of my favorite comic book artists. I gave away a copy of his Dead Eyes trade paperback. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to give away at least one more copy of Dead Eyes this year. So keep watching Comic Book Corner and find out how you can win your copy of Dead Eyes. I'll be giving away a copy of Otzi at some point. I'll be giving away this exact copy of Low from Rick Veitch. So these, and I've got a whole stack of some Valiant comics, some classic Valiant comics that I'm going to be giving away in single issues and in stacks at a time. So tune in to Comic Book Corner. It's usually going to be on Fridays at noon California time, 3 o'clock on the East Coast. And it's always going to be getting, it's stored out on the Cabin Fever page and on the Comic Book Corner page as well. And of course, now there are podcasts of this show in addition. I truly appreciate however you're listening to the show, however you're watching or experiencing my insanity. I thank you for opening your mind to my infectious insanity. Keep your eyes on Comic Book Corner. Keep your eyes on the Cabin Fever Radio page on Facebook. Keep your eyes on the Cabin Fever Radio page on Instagram, on Twitter. Follow us on those places. Definitely go check out Vengeance Turns. Vengeance Turns is on Twitter. It's on Instagram. It's on Facebook. Go to vengeanceturns.com and buy some of our stuff. We still have t-shirts and pins left from our limited edition sets, but they're going fast. And I'm going to be giving away some of that stuff on this show too. Tomorrow on Cabin Fever Radio Novellas at 2 p.m. Saturday, we're going to be reading Desperado and giving away even more Vengeance Turns merchandise. So if you've been wanting something, one of these limited edition things from Vengeance Turns, and you're like, damn you, Bobby, those things are too damn expensive, and you want me to bring those damn prices down? Free. I can't go lower than free. Come tomorrow to Cabin Fever Radio Novellas at 2 p.m. Get you some Vengeance Turns stuff. Come back to Comic Book Corner on Fridays, and you can get you some free stuff, some Vengeance Turns stuff, and some comic books and some trade paperbacks too. Let your friends know. This is the place to find out about series, about long runs, about finding out if a comic book is really something you'll get into. You're going to find that out right here. You're going to find that out on Comic Book Corner. You're going to find that out from Bobby Smith. That's me. And this has been Comic Book Corner. You've been listening to Cabin Fever Radio. I'll see you next week, comic fans. Thank you for stopping in. Peace. Spread love, guys. Spread love.